going to continue to keep our spring fling going with our next guest as we add her to the show. Hello. I think you're on mute.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Awesome. Tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Yes. I am Sharbria Shine. I'm a speaker, author, and I am the founder of the Single and Satisfied movement and the Virtuous Woman movement. And I'm so excited to be on here.
Single and Satisfied movement.
Yes,
I love it. So tell me a little bit about that movement.
Yes. So it started from a blog. I started blogging about faith, love, self-love. I was single and, I was miserable for a while. I was so unsatisfied for a long time. And I was like, you know what? Am I going to really stay unsatisfied and miserable because I don't have a man in my life? And the absolute answer was no, right? And so I started focusing on just pouring out what I was going through, my experiences to help other women. And honestly, there was so much healing in helping others, just taking my mind off of me and saying, I'm not the only woman who feels like this. Let's create a life that we don't feel like we need rescuing from. Let's find wholeness in God and in self-love and in our purpose without worrying about, is this guy my husband? Is that guy my husband? No, worry about yourself being fulfilled with who you are and focus on that, and the right guy will come in God's timing. So it started as a blog, then it started to a movement. And I always start having the annual Single and Satisfied 7-day challenge during Valentine's Day. And so I just met so many amazing single women. And then it resulted into a book of Single and Satisfied, the Single Woman's Guide to Fulfillment. And it just continued, just encouraging single women all the way to now the Virtuous Woman movement, where I'm encouraging women from all walks of life. So it's a blessing.
Awesome. So how does one prepare to be in a relationship?
Yes, I would definitely say work on self. Do the self work. I think we always feel like, about the other person, pleasing them. What will they like? Well, what do you like? Who are you as a person? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are some of your pet peeves? And those weaknesses, how can you work on those? So I feel like being the best you, being as healthy as you can, is great preparation, and healing from your past. Girl, it is great preparation for that dating process and just knowing what you want in a future partner.
That's good. And so what are some advice? Well, I have some questions that people have asked me, so I'm trying to get those in.
No problem.
So what is the best advice for singles to meet someone?
The best advice for singles to meet someone. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like there's two different sides. On one side, I feel like people say, make yourself available, like go out, if there's conferences or events, don't be shy to go out with your friends or with yourself, even if there's something you want to go to. And then there's the other side where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to be the best woman I could be, and he going to find me. So I think it depends on where you are. I got to the point of the ladder where I was like, I'm doing me. I'm going to be the best woman I can. He going to see me when it's time. He gonna see me. He's gonna recognize me. So yeah,
that's right. Because you're a newlywed, correct?
Yes, a year and a half. Yep, I'm excited.
Awesome. Congratulations. So tell us a little bit about that. How did you guys meet one another?
Yes. Oh my God, the story is quite interesting. He saw me on Instagram with a mutual friend, and I always tell women, don't put God in a box, because I was so like, I'm going to meet him at church, or I'm going to meet him here or there, not through no Facebook post or whatever. But you have to just be open-minded. And he inquired about me from one of my friends, and they had went to church years before that, did ministry together, knew each other. She could, really account for who he was. And he was like 12 hours away. So I didn't know it though. Girl, I didn't know it. She thought he was like a few hours away. And so I was like, well, I'm not with the long distance thing, but I can try it. Girl, I found out he was 12 hours away, but it was too late because I was already interested.
Right.
And so we talked. The first time we talked, hit it off, was a man of God. He was respectful. We had a lot of things in common. And he literally drove 12 hours like that next week to meet me in person. So it was a great love story. Yep.
I love it. So let me ask you this. What does a healthy relationship look like?
Yes, I would definitely say mutual respect.
Okay.
I would definitely say that. I would even say friendship. I would definitely say friendship, respect, love, and just, learning to enjoy each other as well. And even in the disagreements, because they're going to happen. I think people think that, I'm going to get married, girl, it's going to be perfect. No, because nobody's perfect. You're not perfect. He not perfect. None of us are perfect. But just learning how to walk and talk through communication. Like if you make a mistake, like apologize. If you cut your husband off, because girl, I'm working on that, cutting them off. Like work on it. And I just think that being able to communicate, being able to slow down, really try to understand and care about how your partner is feeling, I think that's so important because we're going to make mistakes. Like I said, we are not perfect, but just being able to humble yourself and say, you know what, I made a mistake, or maybe I need to learn more in this area, or maybe I need to seek some counsel in that area, I think is key.
So let me ask you this, because I know when I got married, I had a whole, I was with the single, saved, satisfied, all that, know, purity and all that kind of stuff like that. But when I got married, I found out it was a lot of stuff. Like, I don't know if I just didn't listen, but it was a lot. Like, I don't think y'all told me about this. I don't think y'all properly prepared me to deal with it. So now that you're married, what is there anything that you felt like, man, I have to learn how to do this, or I wasn't properly prepared?
Yes, I would definitely say that I had amazing pre-counseling and a lot of wise women around me that I learned from over the years. Because I was a little older when I got married. So I think that I learned a lot. But I could definitely say some things that I had to learn was to, I would say financially, I had to learn a lot more about that. I knew that that was something that they always talk about, can really destroy a marriage. We learned that in counseling and those things. But I had to learn so many things really fast as well about finances really quickly to have peace in my marriage. Also, I would just say that something that I didn't think about too much, but I kind of knew, is just how much the enemy, no matter what season you're in, will try to really have you discontent no matter what. He wants to destroy you. Like you feel like, oh, I was discontent in my singleness, or I struggle, at a season before I got single and satisfied. And then in marriage, you have to realize there's an enemy out there. He wants you also to be discontent in your marriage, and so just realizing that you need God, you need that strong foundation even more in your marriage. I think that's just so important.
I have to agree with you on that one. That's true, because we forget about that part, that the enemy doesn't want the marriage, because I just be like, listen, I said I do, but today I don't.
Yeah, girl, yeah. I feel you, yes.
Listen, I had to learn a whole lot, and I too was older too, but I don't know. I think for me, it was just kind of the bringing together of the two different, I'm not going to say cultures, but just the two different upbringings.
Yeah.
And, and some things that, I may not like, or, and vice versa. And like, I don't know if you was listening to me talk to the other ladies, like shoes on the carpet, or leaving a little bit of juice in the refrigerator. And that, equals disrespect. That's just me, because I've asked you necessarily not to do that. But anyway, so that's just my situation. So let's talk about being satisfied. How do you tell ladies to be content, to be satisfied in their singleness? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, I first just let them know, even just from the marriage side, that if you feel like a man is going to completely satisfy you and fulfill you, you are sadly mistaken. And that is where I start, because I'm on the other side now. And so sometimes when you're single, telling singles that, they're like, oh, girl, she don't know. She ain't got a man. But it's like, no, I'm telling you, I got a man, right? And I'm like, and I'm telling you, I have a great man that God sent me in a great marriage. However, I'm telling you, he will not fulfill you. He cannot heal all your brokenness, fulfill you at all of your low points, and he just can't. So I first just really tell them, you have to learn how to love you. And I know we're not perfect, but really strive to love yourself, really strive to create a life you don't feel like you need rescuing from. Because when you get married, there are going to be some seasons where you're like, Lord, I need rescuing from now, and I'm married, like, because you just don't always feel content, but you have to fight for that contentment. And so I just start off by telling them, man, that happiness, you're in control of it, not another human being. You cannot depend on them for that. For one, it's too much pressure for another human being. Us as women, sometimes we be tripping. They sometimes men have no clue how to handle what we going through. They like, I'm trying, I love you, but I do not know how to fix this, And so I think it's so important that I just tell them, create a life that you love, really work on building your tribe of other women you're doing life with. Because I'm a firm believer, we're not meant to do life alone, but that doesn't mean that we have to have a man there to complete us.
Correct. I absolutely agree. To that. So I had the wife coaches on.
Yes.
So I asked them, like, what is a good wife? What does a good wife look like? What does she
Yep.
do? What is a good wife to you,
Yeah.
in your opinion?
Yes. First of all, I'm just gonna be honest. Well, I got to also just start the Virtuous Woman movement. So I'm all about like a woman that fears the Lord. Like a woman that
That's
fears the
right.
Lord really has that personal relationship with Christ. To me, there is no comparison because in a marriage, you need wisdom. And every
Yeah.
man is different, as you know. Every marriage is different, every woman is different. You need God to show you how to deal with your man. So I believe it's a woman who prays for her man, a woman who builds him up, does not tear him down, even when she knows she has the influence and the power to do so. She builds her house up. And these are just really important because men can be so susceptible to being torn down. And the one woman that can do it better than anyone is their wife. They're looking to us to encourage them, to build them up, to pray for them, and to prefer them. Now, do we do that all the time? No, because we're human, but to try to practice preferring them and trusting God that in return, they're going to prefer us. So I would say that.
I like it. I like it. And so, what is a good husband? What does he look like? What does he do?
Yes. So a good husband, I gotta go to the word, is somebody who strives. Again, they're not perfect. They strive to love their wife like Christ loved the church, right? He was self-serving. He died for the church. So if his woman is in danger, he got you, right? So I definitely would say somebody who he leads with love and not with an iron fist. Right. Because, the man, some people are like, he's the head of the home, but sometimes I feel like some men, not all, can take that and run with it. And they're like,
Oh yeah.
you supposed to be submissive to me. But no, I love, like, for my husband, he literally leads with love and
Okay.
example, and he tries to encourage me, support me, uplift me. And I really like that. He does prefer me, and he doesn't treat me like beneath him, but I'm a partner, and I love that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me about the Virtuous Woman movement.
Yes.
You went from that. So how does that go? Tell me
Yeah,
a
so
little bit about
that's
that.
new. So basically, it's just a transition from the single and satisfied movement. I still do both, but that's just for single women. The virtuous woman movement is for all women, all walks of life, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether it's complicated, right? It's just like this is a group to encourage each other to walk in God's word, to be the best woman we could be, and to max out in every area of our lives.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. So how important is communication in a marriage?
Oh, girl, whew, so important. So important in any relationship, but so many disagreements. I feel like is because of miscommunication, and I've seen a lot of divorce, unfortunately, and a lot of it was from miscommunication. One of the smallest things can cause such a big fire, can cause a divorce even because you let something build up over years that really wasn't even what you thought it was, but maybe because of pride or fear or whatever it is, you wouldn't talk about it, you wouldn't bring it up. So I think it's very important because even in some of the disagreements I've had as a newlywed, just a disagreement. So you have to communicate and then you have to actually care about how your spouse really feels, even when you don't agree. So I know it can be hard. Yep.
That is absolutely true. I absolutely agree with that. Communication is so key to a good marriage and a healthy
Yeah.
marriage. So far, how do you go about keeping your marriage fun and the romance? I know you're a newlywed. I know
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah. Well, I would definitely say, yeah, even for newlyweds, I think it's so valid because of COVID, right? I
right.
mean, like we've been working from home, and so we've been together 24/7. And something that people may not know is we were a long distance couple. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the relationship was so exciting, obviously, in the beginning, plane rides, coming to visit each other, just amazing. And then you get married, and I had to move from my family and everything to another state, to get married. And then so you have all that excitement. And then COVID is like, oh my God, we're here every single day. We got to learn each other is so fast. But I do think a lot of couples swear by the whole date night thing. I do think that's important because when we start to let that slip, it started to impact me personally. I didn't even realize something like that was that important, but just little things that you intentionally do, carve out time to say, yeah, I don't feel like getting all cute and dolled up today, but it's date night. We said we're going to do something. Let's do it. And it does
Yeah,
keep a spark and an excitement. And even for the man, because you got to look good and we ain't looking good 24/7. So just,
that's right.
getting all cute, I think they appreciate that. And I think that spark for me, it's the little things too, like flowers, and every woman's different. Everybody doesn't like flowers. So I think you have to just discover what your partner's like. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So before we go, just tell us a little bit about how we can get in touch with you and your book. I know you talked about it, but just, just go ahead and put a little plug in for me.
Of course. Well, you all can follow me on all social media across the board at Sharpria Shine, my podcast at Maxed Out Girl, and you can go to sharpria.com. So sharpria.com has everything, my books, resources, courses, everything that you would need. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, okay? And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.